You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host, who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong, author and cerebral palsy advocate, Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today with me I have Dr. Gail. So I'm going to let Dr. Gail take it away and explain more of her story.
Hi, yes, my name is Dr. Gail Frankle, and I worked for over 30 years in healthcare. I'm a nurse by original trade, and worked for over 30 years. I worked myself up into the corporate world, working in organ donation and transplantation. And about 4 years ago, I decided I had had enough of the corporate world, and I decided to leave and to come out and start my own business. I felt that I was constrained to be able to help others in what the corporate world wanted from me. And so I did that. I have now been teaching and training for 4 years on mindset and how I love working with young people to help them go from where they are to where they want to be and not where others want them to be, because so many times it's a parent or someone who wants them to be someone that they really don't want to be. And also working with victims of trauma who I truly feel some of the psychiatric community has let down, and working with them and helping them through positive coaching to be able to help them get back and put those memories in the past where they belong so that they can get on and have a productive and healthy life. So that's me.
Well, geez, where were you when I needed someone on June 23rd to help me with my own trauma? Yeah, that's always been an interesting experience. The day after your birthday, you get psychologically abused by family members. That's what happened to me, and that will be a year in June, you guys. So I am still standing, and if it wasn't for psychological help, I wouldn't be still standing, quite
Right.
frankly. So I applaud what you are doing, Dr. Gill, even though you're not on essential worker. In my eyes, you are helping people through this wonky time we're all sitting in, and healthcare professionals are just there to help.
Absolutely. And, I think what has been lost in this perspective, this is the first time in 30 years I haven't been on the front line of the epidemic or pandemic, as you want to call it, that may have may not been labeled that. I've been through a lot of them, from Ebola to you name it. I've been through, and this is a different experience for me, looking at it from the outside in, and not being right there on the front line. So I'm very aware of who I listen to, and I shut out most of the news because it's way negative and not necessarily the truth. So I'm very cautious as to who I listen to, and I would suggest others do the same for their own mental health. Is find people that are giving you the best piece of the truth as they know it, that have researched it and are really. And I'm very picky about who I listen to. So I picked three areas that in my state that I was wanting to listen to, and in the world I listened to the CDC updates. I listened to the World Health Organization, and I actually listened to my governor and head of the Department of Health in Ohio, where I live. They have done a very good job of leading the state through crisis, and we're not over it yet. We're not to the top of the peak yet, but we're gonna get through it together as a state because they've been very thoughtful and not knee-jerking at how they react. And so we've been preparing for the last 4 weeks to get ready for the top of the curve. So
And
I think that's important because I think when you take in a lot of negative all the time, that's what you believe and that's what you hear because that's what your subconscious has heard over and over. And it
and
puts people in a really bad place.
what I've come to find out is that I did a research project for one of my classes, you guys, on staying calm during the pandemic, staying calm during the coronavirus. And my friend who was helping me, my tutor who was helping me with this project, I found a graph that people were getting freaked out when they Googled the word coronavirus. And so I agree with you, Gail, and listen to your state governors. Listen to your state governors, no matter whether you're stateside or international, and listen to what the CDC says, and listen to what the Health World Health Organization says. Don't necessarily listen to the President of the United States. Oh, don't get me started on that. I would go lower than that. I personally would go lower than that.
Yeah. I think people don't understand. I've studied the brain for many years and how the conscious and subconscious mind work. And our subconscious mind is the collector. It's our scrapbook of our whole life. So that subconscious mind has been collecting things since we were conceived. Everything that's happened every millisecond of our life is stored in our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind really can't do anything with it other than if it hears something happen 5 or 6 or 7 times, it goes, whoa, I'm hearing that a lot. I think I'll stick it over in this bucket that I call the truth, and I'm going to turn on the autopilot. And once it turns on the autopilot, we don't even know it's running unless that conscious brain that can challenge things decides to challenge something. And so when you get a lot of negative things coming to your face, which our media is that, I mean, this world now in my 65 years of life has gone from, to having everything in our face now. And so if you're only listening to negative and you're getting yourself really fixated on that, your subconscious brain is just going to see that as truth, whether what they're telling you is truth or not. And this goes to anywhere in your life, whether you've been in trauma or wherever you've been. If you can take that statement that's giving you angst, that's making you scared or making you nervous or out of sorts, and write that statement down on paper. Once you write it on paper, it comes out of your brain into the conscious awareness, and you're able to look at that and read it again and see it with some perspective. And the question you ask yourself when you read it, is that true or is that not true? If it's true, then maybe you need to figure out why you think it's true. But for the most part, about 88% of the time, a person, when they do that, is going to find that what they heard was not really the truth. What that little voice in their head was telling them was really not a truth, but you'd never challenged it before. And so when you can get yourself to do that, I'm very calm through this. I like I said, having lived through a lot of these, I know that we'll pass through it. But I think part of it too is I figure out how I'm going to filter things in my mind and what I'm going to ask myself before I see it as a truth. And if I could give one advice, I think that's something that would help people if they just take a deep breath and, know that the world is changing. Our norm, people say, when's our norm going to come back? Well, our change is inevitable. It's the one thing I can tell you is constant. So we're never going to go back to where we were, but hopefully we're learning a lot through this process and through the things that are happening that are going to make us stronger when we come out the other side. So, and listening to people that are telling you stay home, social distance, Wash your hands, which I don't know. My mother told me that every 5 minutes, I think, when I was a little child. Go wash your hands with soap and water. If you do those things, then we can lower that curve quicker, right? And not spread the disease. And we have done that very well, I think, in our state. I know that some states are having some issues with that. It all depends on how your leadership is reacting to it.
Yeah. Some states, or I won't call out these states, but I have friends in these states that are not doing that are not doing the stay at home as well as they can. Thank you.
Yeah.
But Colorado is, and California is, and so yes. And so that being said, what is your morning routine?
My morning routine, one of the things that I do morning and night, I do two different things. In the morning when I get up, the first thing I say to myself is, this is going to be a great day. Or some form of a positive statement about the day. This is going to be a wonderful day. This day, whatever about that. I always start with a positive before I start my day, because then it's up to the world to prove me wrong. Okay, so if I start with a positive, and then before I go to bed at night, I ask myself what worked well, what went well today. I have found that if I do that, then I go to sleep and I rest when I'm restoring in my sleep with a positive thing as well, because I'm looking at the positives. Yeah, a bunch of things probably went wrong during the day, but they were wrong and they're over and done with. And so if I can pick the things that went well and go into a restful sleep, then I wake up, I rest well, my body heals well while I'm sleeping and rejuvenates my immune system, because when you think all those negative thoughts, or if you start the morning with, oh, it's going to be a horrible day, those negative thoughts weaken your immune system. And our immune system needs to be a rock star right now. It really needs to work hard.
It does.
So we have to give it a lot of positive thoughts and try to not to ignore the negative things, but put it in its place where it needs to be. And when it's over and done with, it's over and done with. So that's kind of my routine for how I start my day. I always start positive. That's the first thing when I wake up. I'm looking around and being thankful for what I have, and that it's going to be a great day.
And if your best friend had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
That's a good question. I can answer that depends on the friend, probably, who would say that. I think he did it afraid and did it well.
Did it afraid and did it well. Well, isn't that a cool title? And what is your favorite book and what is the title?
The favorite book, I've got a lot of favorite books, but the one I just read that I just read is The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. And I like this book. Like I said, I just finished this one. I've been trying to do a lot of reading while I've been working from home here. And what I like about it is it puts it out there that nothing's ever done. Everything is infinite. Whether you're in business or politics or education or wherever you are, there's not a true ending. We go through struggles and we go through all different things. Too many people want to find something finite. They want the game to end. And if we're truly living into our life and our purpose and we're out there to help others, we're living that infinite game, meaning it's endless. It can change. The directions we go and the things we do can change, but we're constantly out there living our life, and we're not letting anybody stop us from doing that. So I really liked it. It was a good timing for me to read this book with everything that's going on, but I would highly recommend it. He also did start with Why and Leaders Eat Last, which so I've followed him for a while, and I think he's just a very positive voice out there, and in the clutter of everything that's out there right now.
And so, if you had to move and take 5 things with you, for the exception of your family, your laptop, what would they be?
I would probably take my favorite book. I have a shelf of them, so I probably would have to get a box to put them in. But I'd take my favorite book that I've read and reread over and over again. Can't take my laptop because most of my stuff is on there, so that would be a hard one. Or is that just a given? I'd take my laptop.
That's a given.
Yeah. I would take my phone mainly because I use audiobooks, so I have a lot of books on there, so I might not have to take all the hard copies. I would take my dog, who's under my desk right now. I would take my favorite photographs because those are ones that I have printed out. And I have a 5-year-old grandson who has yearly, for the first 5 years, given me a book of him, of his year, pictures of his year. So I would take those with me as well. And I think that's probably, those are all the things. Oh, and I would take my Bible that I got in Jerusalem. Other than that, I think everything else can be replicated. They're just special things, you know?
Everything else can be replicated. As we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions to me?
What's your daily routine? What do you do to keep yourself going?
Oh, I get up at 6:30. I hit my Amazon smart speaker. I try, and that's the only news I listen to in the morning by myself, so I can actually think about it and actually not have to go through the day with me. And then by 8 o'clock, I have my aides showing up to help me get ready for the day. Due to my cerebral palsy, I need 24-hour care. And so if I don't take those moments away for myself, I am up the creek without a paddle, you guys.
Yeah, because you always seem up to me, and having listened to some of your interviews, you're always positive, and I know that can't always be easy to do.
No, it can't. And so if I don't take those couple minutes at 6:30 in the morning and get up by 7:45, I am up to the creek without a paddle. And I can tell in my body if I don't take those couple of minutes to get my body semi up and semi functional, I can just tell I'm going to have an interesting day due to I burn 1,000 calories a day. People don't believe me when I say that, but just sitting up in this chair recording this interview, I'm burning calories. I have already probably burned my lunch that I ate. So I have a quick metabolism, and I'm also burning 1,000 calories just doing the daily activities that you guys take for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, that I admire in people, that the people that I surround myself with are people who don't take the world, anything for granted, that they know that it's a gift that they have every day, and it could go away from any of us at any day. And I've been telling people that are trying to develop their new norm at home now, they may be both maybe they're parents and got kids and they're both working from home, but then they've got kids and they got to homeschool and everything, is you got to be sure you take 10 to 15 minutes of quiet to yourself every day where you just breathe, because you can't help everybody else if you don't help yourself. So I start that day as like you as well. I've got to get myself ready and take care of myself first, because I can't help others if I haven't set myself right.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Well, I agree with you that we've got to take the time for ourselves, whether it's at 6:30 in the morning with a cup of coffee in our hand, or whether it's at 6:30 in the morning lying in bed listening to the Amazon smart speaker. And we've got to take that time for ourselves, because if anyone doesn't, we'll be up to the creek without a paddle. And then with everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, our bodies will be weakened, and the body can sense what's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got to rejuvenate that. Any of that stuff that you don't take care of when you don't take care of yourself weakens your immune system, and we all have to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others and not fall prey to the disease.
Yeah. No, not fall prey to the disease. And for those who I applaud those who are seeking mental health right now. I've been seeking mental health since my father died. So I know what it's like to go get mental help, and so to those of you guys who haven't yet sought mental help, you probably should. I am a big proponent of seeking counseling. I will say that loud and clear.
I agree with you loud and clear.
Yeah, I am a big proponent of seeking counseling, and telehealth is the way to do it now. And all you have to do is find out who's the best practitioner for you. And that being said, you guys, if you guys didn't catch Tuesday's episode, which is out today, I am actually, after my journalism degree, going back to school, taking a couple months off from journalism to go get my psychology degree, because I feel like I could impact the world in a huge way with helping people with disabilities, because I have seen what it's done for me and what it's done for as a people. And Gail, you couldn't agree more. So for those of you that need to go find help, go find help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. And you're probably thinking, well, when you have a disability, you have every right to ask for help. I'm saying it's okay to ask for help. It's not like it's a big shame, and it's not a big deal to be asking for help. And so Gail, where can people find you if they choose to do so?
Well, you can find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter as well. Twitter, it's under my name, Gail Frankle. But my Facebook is Together Providing Hope. My website, I have a Gail at gailfrankle.com and a togetherprovidinghope.com. So you can find me at any of those places, and willing to help anybody in any way I can.
Yeah. And do you do clinical psychology in the state of Ohio. What you're doing, what's providing hope.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm doing, is providing hope.
So
Everybody needs hope.
Your website is providing hope, but you do help people.
I do coaching. Yes, I'm as a nurse. I do mental health coaching. Yeah.
Okay, so you do mental health coaching. So that's why you said I agree when I.
Yes, absolutely, I do. I'm actually I have my doctoral degree, but I am going back and getting certified with the Amen Clinic. He's a double board psychiatrist out of California, who uses scans to help truly diagnose people with the right disease, between using his clinical evals and his SPECT scans to be able to really find a good diagnosis and treatment for people.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. So, Gail, I really appreciate your time today, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode of Ask When with Gail, and I hope that we can make this world a safer, happier place. You guys stay safe, stay happy, stay sane, and we'll get through this. Bye, you guys.
You just listened to Ask When, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwhen.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.